Okay. Uh, well, nice to see you all today. Um, can you hear me well? Is the volume okay? Okay. So, my name is Nora Barquin, and I am a clinical associate at Cancer Wellness Center. I am also a certified mindfulness meditation teacher, and I have had my own practice since 2010. So I was dealing with a lot of health issues, and um, I decided to start doing yoga. So I realized that doing yoga will calm my anxiety, and then I started doing meditation, and has really changed my life, because otherwise it was very difficult to me to handle anxiety, difficult situations. So that's why I decided to become a mindfulness meditation teacher, because I wanted to share what I have learned, and hopefully others would find it beneficial too. Okay, so that was me. Um, okay, I went to share it. Okay, so what is mindfulness meditation? Mindfulness is an awareness cultivated intentionally by paying attention to the present moment without judgment. So, sometimes this definition is difficult to understand, but we are going to tease it little by little. So be patient. We'll see what really means. Um, so why is important? Because it helps people be more aware of their thoughts, emotion, and physical sensations, and that can improve their well-being or reduce the stress. And that is very important for us when we practice. We are going to become aware of our thoughts, our emotions, or the physical sensations, and accept them without judgment. So the meditation originated in Asia more than 2,500 years ago. So I want to show you the pioneers that brought meditation to the Western Hemisphere. This woman here is Alexandra David Neal, and she was an explorer. She lived almost 100 years. And she was, the first foreigner to come to Lhasa, which is the capital of Tibet. And she went there to China and to India and to Tibet, and learned that this tradition through the Buddhist teachers. She also wrote several books, and these books were like a base for other researchers to figure out that meditation was really doing not just something, not just a practice, but it would have influence physiologically in our body. So this is a little bit of the timeline. Herbert Benson, who was a cardiologist for the Massachusetts General Hospital, started researching the meditation in individuals, not monks, just regular individuals. And later he went to the Tibetan monks and studied the reactions, the physical reactions of the monks. But that was in 1981. In 1979, John Kabat-Zinn that's also another milestone, created the mindfulness-based stress reduction. And that is a class practice that had helped many people in the hospitals, in clinics, hospitals, in schools, reduce the stress. So from 1990s to the present, mindfulness become widely used. And now it's used in medicine, in education, and in wellness programs. So it went through just being a practice in Asia to become very important to the way we process stress, and helps patients and people in general. So going back to Herbert Benson, he was a Harvard cardiologist, so he was very worried to see how the stress was affecting his patients and was making them more ill. So then he decided to do something about it. He did meditation and yoga himself. So he thought that maybe teaching them these skills will help them. And he was the first one to do demonstrate scientifically that meditation changes the heart rate, the oxygen consumption, blood pressure, and the stress response. So then Benson went to the Indian Himalayas in 1980, and he studied from the Tibetan monks with the help of the Dalai Lama. He went there with his equipment that was not very sophisticated because it was the 1980s, but still he was able to track a lot of physiological parameters in the monks where they were meditating. And these monks practice something that is called tumo meditation. So they put themselves robes that are cold. They wrap themselves to their bodies in cold weather, like in 30s or 40s. So they start doing this meditation, and then the heat generated through their bodies dries the robes. So this was like something that let them demonstrate that meditation can influence physiological processes that before they were thought to be just by involuntary control. So that we couldn't make heat by ourselves. So then it was, who can we make meditation studies with? Well, the monks were the ones that are like more, used to the meditation, and their brains are different. They have done CAT scans and MRIs of their brains, and their brains are different. The wavelengths of their brains are different. So, this is just a picture. They're not sitting like that in the CAT scan, but they did a lot of experiments with them. And one of the things that happened is that they are more resilient than other people, because one of the experiments was to show them like pictures of very distressed or very violent scenes, and their brains really didn't get it activated. So their brains have changed. They're different than any of us that don't meditate or don't meditate as much as them. Okay. So here are other meditation teachers, and if you come to my class that I'm going to give in July, you'll hear about them. The first one is John Kabat-Zinn, the one that did the first mindful stress reduction class. The second one is Thich Nhat Hanh, that is a Buddhist monk that was born in Vietnam, and then he was not disagreeing the war, so he came and lived in France, and he had a monastery there. It's called the Plum Monastery. He lived there and teach there. He died 3 years ago. And then Tara Brach and Jan Corfield are PhDs in psychology, and they had gone both to Asia, to monasteries, lived there, and study from the monks Buddhism. So they have a combination of Buddhism and psychology. And those are the ones who I was trained with. I took their training, the 2-year training. Okay. So, why meditation and stress? Because, stress is in everyday situation. If we are running late, we get stressed out. When things do not go as planned, we also get stressed out. We receive bad news, if we have family conflicts, or if we have sickness. All these things and many others create stress in ourselves. So how meditation reduces stress? So it promotes a deep relaxation and mental calmness. It's by focusing the attention, meditation helps quiet the streams of thoughts that contributes to stress and supports physical and emotional health. So our brain, our mind, is producing thoughts all the time. You know, the thoughts come is the similar as our salivary glands produce saliva. The mind releases thoughts. So a lot of these thoughts are negative, and because we're brain wired for that when we were primitive, and we need to have this emergency system to be aware that nobody, a big animal will come and eat us. So, but sometimes this is an hyperreactive system and it's always on. So when that happens, then meditation, that is, instead of having all these thoughts, focusing on something, quiets the mind. So if you see this picture, I like this because they call it, when people are so stressed and has all the stream of thoughts going, in their brains, they call it the monkey mind. It's like having a monkey going up and down. So in that stressful situation, focusing on something could be the breath, could be the sensations of the body, could be smells, many things. But the important is to be aware, number one, as we saw in the definition, and then to focus in something, and then that makes the mind to quiet. And the thoughts, we cannot stop the thoughts because the mind always are secreting thoughts, but the thoughts don't get stuck with us, don't get stuck and provoke anxiety, and this is a vicious circle with more anxiety. Okay, so what happens when we perceive something stressful? So there are two systems. One is like in the hypothalamus, pituitary gland, and adrenal glands, that is called HPA axis. And this system releases cortisol, that is an hormone that is released from the adrenal glands that are above our kidneys. So as we said, the regular meditation reduces the excessive activation of the stress response, and also helps the body to go back to balance after this stress has stopped. And here's another picture of the hypothalamus adrenal axis. So the hypothalamus is in the brain, then that produces a CRH, that is a hormone, and that goes to the pituitary glands, and then secretes ACTH, that is another hormone that goes to the adrenal glands and activates them, and they release cortisol, that is the hormone of the stress. So other system that deals with stress is the autonomic nervous system, and this controls functions that are automatically, like the flight or fight or freeze response when there's something that is threatening us, and then increases the heart rate, increases breathing, it releases stress hormones because we are ready to fight or to run or do a response of this threatening situation. And then the parasympathetic nervous system does the opposite. It's like one is the accelerator and the other is the brake. It's part of the rest and digest phase, slows the heart rate, promotes relaxation, and supports the healing of the body if there's an injury and the recovery. So mindfulness meditation may help activate the parasympathetic nervous system, that's supporting that way relaxation and recovery from stress. So this is a neuroscience of the meditation. We already talked a little bit about this. So what happens in our nervous system? Um, well, the meditation helps to reduce the excessive activation of the body's stress response, lowers cortisol levels, and supports emotional regulation. So another way to mention it is reduce less cortisol, less stress reactivity, more emotional regulation, and more resilience. So if you remember that I told you that when they showed them the Buddhist monks pictures of very dramatic events or very violent events, that they didn't really get very activated. So that's because their brain is already has through the meditation change and has become more resilient. So it's easy to be emotional regulated. Okay, I don't want to give you a class of anatomy, but I just want to show you how the mindfulness meditation can also, it has shown that strengthens the prefrontal cortex, where is the attention and decision making, and reduces the amygdala, that is where the fear and stress center is. And this is another picture. So if you see, the prefrontal cortex, it's in the front of our brain, where there's the self-control that helps remain calm. So that is activated or increased with the meditation. And then the amygdala, that is the one who deals with the fight, flight, and freeze response, is decreased. Just another summary. What happens when we meditate? Heart rate and breathing slows down, blood pressure lowers, blood cortisol decreases. The meditation may support healthy immune function. They have done some experiments that demonstrate that, and they have definitely seen brain activity changes. So why is the meditation linked to the emotional well-being? So the meditation can help us gain a new perspective of stressful situations. So we are not so reactive. There's something wrong happening, and instead of completely get activated, our response is more calm. So then we can manage stress more effectively. Increases self-awareness, because self-awareness not always is in us. Sometimes we don't even know what's happening. We just feel, upset, or we don't feel well, and we don't even know what is happening. And it's happening that maybe we have a lot of anxiety, or we are depressed. And when we have self-awareness, then it's easy to figure out what's happening with us. So the meditation, as I mentioned, they help us stay focused in the present moment. And why is that important? That is important because usually when we're thinking of the past, we regret things, and then we can just go to a spiral in depression. Why did I do that? If I haven't done that, why didn't I wake up early, and it's my fault because now I'm late. Bad negative thoughts, spiraling down to feel anxious or depressed. And the past is the past. There's nothing we can fix. So why are we focusing in the past? If we focus in the future, a lot of the times we have catastrophic thoughts. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of traffic, and I'm going to be late to see the doctor. So, that's the importance of staying in the present moment, because here the present is what is real. The future we don't know. So thinking about the future and getting anxious is kind of a waste, because we don't know the future. So why do we get involved in thinking, anxiety thoughts about the future? So staying in the present, that's when we are alive, here and now. So as we mentioned before, reduces the negative emotions. So where can we practice meditation? Any place, we don't need a special equipment. So we can do it while we're walking, while we're riding the bus or the train, while we are waiting at the doctor's office, or we are at work participating in a difficult meeting. So that's the good thing about that meditation, that you can access it whenever you need it. Okay. So there's many types of meditation. Mindfulness meditation is like you focus your awareness in something. The majority of the times is the breath. But there's also guided meditations when you hear some script that somebody's, guiding you how to meditate. We are going to do this exercise after we finish the presentation. There's loving kindness meditation, and that's a, very good meditation because it makes you feel better about ourselves. Sometimes we are not really happy with ourselves and we are mean to ourselves. So the love and kindness meditation helps center the love and good thoughts on us and also in other people. That we are going to do in the class that I'm going to do in July, some loving kindness meditation. Body scan meditation, you focus on each part of the body, and that will also make you feel relaxed. Walking meditation is, walking in and focusing on feeling the steps, gently, how you put your right foot, and then you put first the ankle, then the tip of the foot. So slowly, like when the astronauts were walking in the moon, that they were like walking very slowly. But exactly, that's the way you do the walking meditation. But also there's another meditation, like movement meditation, like yoga. In the yoga, you do movements and breathe at the same time. So the movement and the breath are in the same, you like do them together. You move and you breathe, you move and you first inhale, you move and you exhale. So that coordination of breath and movement also is meditation. Tai Chi is the same idea. So there's meditation for everybody. So if you are not very, very mobile, you can do chair meditation, or you can do Tai Chi. Even eating meditation, you can eat your food and figure out the sensations of the body when you take your spoon and put the food on the mouth and feel the process of chewing. So being mindful could be used for many things, even things that are like everyday tasks, like doing the dishes. That doing the dishes is something that I don't like, but we can focus on what is happening, like all the sensations. You take the handle of the faucet, you move it, you feel the cold iron, then you feel the water flowing, you take the sponge and put soap, you feel how the soap is, touching your hands, and which is the texture of the sponge. So it's about feeling sensations and focusing on that. That's also meditation. So many years ago, I took a seminar from a Buddhist monk, and it was said that the idea was to be concentrated. No matter what you do, if you get concentrated, that is meditation. Okay, how to start a practice. So you choose a quiet and comfortable place. It could be any, could be in your living room, it could be your bedroom, any place that you like. Could be a nice spot in the nature if you have a garden, or you can go to a park, or a quiet corner at home. I started doing meditation at night after everybody was asleep at home, because otherwise I would get distracted. So when everybody was sleeping, then I start doing the meditation. You can put background music if you want, that's optional. You can use aromatherapy, you can put a lamp. I'll show you my lamp. A lamp like this, because it gives a very nice orange light. So many options. You can put the noise of a little fountain. That also helps to relax. Okay, so how do we start a practice? And we are going to do a small practice today, but in general, we have to sit or lie down in a comfortable position, because we're going to stay in that position for a few minutes. And that comfortable position needs to allow you to relax. And you start short. You start with 5 minutes or 3 minutes, and then you can increase gradually the time. And then you have to make it a routine, because it's a practice. That means you have to practice every day, and you can practice in the morning, in the evening, whenever is better for you. But the most important thing, that you can use it when you need it. So when you already, your brain has that skill and has learned to meditate. If I'm having an issue at the office, and somebody is mean and comes and yell at me, instead of go and get all aroused by that, I breathe and then calm down, and then I can react differently. So the importance of the meditation is that you can use it anytime. If you're going to go through a stressful medical procedure, then you're sitting at the waiting room, and you start doing your meditation. I was just having some tests the other day, and I was, waiting for the anesthesiologist to come, so I was sitting in the bed, and I was hooked to the monitor. My blood pressure has been monitored, and I always get a little high blood pressure just going to the hospital, and if I'm running late, even worse. So I had high blood pressure, so then I said, oh, this is a chance to do my experiment. So then I start breathing, slowly, and then it was very nice to see how the blood pressure was going down. So what I'm telling you, can use meditation anytime. So mindfulness is a practice. It's used by the Buddhist monks, but that doesn't mean that we're going to become Buddhist, or that we have changed religions, or nothing. It's just a tool for us to deal with stress. So, but we need to practice it. We need to do it often and often until we get the skills to do it well. So when we are starting, it's normal that we try to focus, and then a thought comes and the mind wanders. We're focusing our breath, and then we start thinking, oh, I have to go to a supermarket and it's going to be late, or oh, this is so boring, whatever thoughts come. So that's normal. When you are more skilled, that happens less. But then what you have to do is go back to your breath, or whatever you're using as sensation. In this case, we're going to do it with a breath. So you just go back to your breath, and don't judge yourself. Don't get upset about it. Don't think, oh, this is so difficult, I cannot do it. No, you just say, okay, that was a thought, I'm going back to my breath. An important thing about meditation is that meditation is not about emptying our mind. We cannot empty our mind. What happens is that we don't get attached to those negative thoughts, but it's not that the thoughts are going to disappear or we're going to stop them. That doesn't happen. We just don't get attached to them. So when we're distracted, we'll just return to the present moment and don't judge ourselves. Okay, so what is important tips for when you are practicing? So we're going to do a practice of the breath. So pay attention to your breath and notice where you feel the breath in your body. It could be in the nostrils, it could be when it passes through the throat, it could be when the lungs expand, it could be in your belly, because as we inhale and the lungs expand, the abdomen also expands, because that diaphragm, that is a muscle that is between the lungs and the abdomen, goes down. So that makes our abdomen expand. So you can decide where you want to notice the breath. So you're going to notice thoughts, and that's okay. This is a thought, and that's fine. If your mind wanders, you just gently return it to the breath. Imagine things helps, like you can imagine that thoughts are like floating leaves in a stream that you just see pass, or like clouds in the sky that in a windy day you just see the clouds pass. So that is an image that could help you. Then also saying a mantra, and the mantra is just repeating some words, and we're going to use some words that is my breath is my anchor. So we practice right now after the presentation. We use that, or counting the breath. Like when we inhale, we count 1 to 4. All this is mentally, and then we stop for 1 minute, and then we empty the breath, or we exhale for 4. So counting or saying some words helps at the beginning to concentrate. So what I told you is that helping, focusing on the present, help reduce worries about the past or the future. Okay. So I have these suggestions, and I can send them to you, or put them in the chat. These 3 books are little, small ones. They're like this one. They're not very big, and this can give you like basic information about meditation. One is Meditation for Beginners by Jack Cornfield, that was my teacher. Wherever you go, there you are, by John Kabat-Zinn, the one who did the stress reduction technique. And The Miracle of Mindfulness, that is from that Vietnamese monk that I mentioned to you, Thich Nhat Hanh. You can also watch videos. Thich Nhat Hanh has awesome videos. I mean, he has an accent, but we're able to deal with my accent. I mean, he speaks English with a Vietnamese accent, so it takes a little bit to get used to what he's saying. But don't give up, because little by little you understand that it's really very, for me, it's relaxing. When I'm cannot focus, then I watch a video of Thich Nhat Hanh and start listening to what he says. And he's so calm, and so loving. So it is really an experience to see a video of him. Let's see what I think. So thank you very much for staying with me, and I'm at the Cancer Wellness Center. I hope you need any information extra, you can email me, or if you are interested in joining my class that's going to be in July, I will be happy to see you again. So now I'm going to stop sharing, and we're going to do our practice. A second. Okay. So we're going to do a short practice of focusing on the breath. Let me grab some water. So we're going to focus on the breath, or be aware of the breath, because we breathe many times a day, but we are not aware of we're breathing. We are in automatic. But then when we focus on our breath and start feeling the breath, then this is when our nervous system comes down. So you're going to, at the beginning of our meditation, you're going to hear the chime of this bell, this bowl, and that means we're going to start. And when we finish, you will hear three times the bell, because that's the way to let you know we finished. Sometimes people are so concentrated that they don't know that we're ending, so I have to give them like a clue, why are we ready to finish. So you now please sit down in a comfortable position. It could be sitting at a chair, or you could be lying down in a couch, whatever you prefer. And you notice the feeling of your feet on the floor and your hands resting on your lap. So also notice the places where your body contact makes contact with the chair. For this practice, you can close your eyes if you feel comfortable, or if you prefer, you can just relax the gaze, whatever feels better for you. So now we're ready to start. Bring your attention into your body and notice where you may be holding tension. It could be in your forehead, around your eyes, in your jaw, in your neck, in your shoulders, in your lower back, in your hands, or in your feet. And if you can, gently relax those areas. Now we are going to follow the breath. Become aware of your breathing and see if you can discover the place in your body where you most clearly feel the sensation of the breath moving in and out. Some people notice it in the rise and fall of the chest or belly, so you can put your hand softly on your belly and feel the belly rising up and down. Other people feel it at the tip of the nose, on the back of the throat. You can also put your hand on your nose or your mouth when you exhale and feel the warm air coming out. It does not matter where you feel it most clearly. Simply notice where the breath is easiest for you to sense. Once you have discovered where you most easily feel your breath, allow your attention to settle there. Observe with curiosity as the breath moves in and out. Let your breathing stay at its natural pace. In this practice, we are not trying to control the breath. We are simply noticing it and becoming more aware of the breath. You may notice almost immediately that your attention wanders from the breath. This is normal and natural. We are easily distracted by sounds, sensations, or thoughts. Without struggling or judging yourself, simply notice that the mind has wandered. Let the thought go and gently return your attention to the rise and fall of your breath. If it helps, you can silently say in on the inhale and out on the exhale. We are not trying to stop our thoughts. We are learning to notice when they pull us away from the present moment and to return with patience and kindness without judgment. Let's take a few moments to focus on the breath. Simply notice breathing in and breathing out. Each time the mind wanders, gently return again to breathing in and breathing out. If you would like additional support for your attention, you may try counting your breath. Inhale for 4 counts, hold briefly for 1, and exhale for 4 counts. And we are going to do 4 of these exercises, everyone at their own pace. So count, inhale for 4, hold briefly for 1 count, and exhale for 4. Now we are going to use some words to anchor our breath. So while you inhale, you say silently the word, my breath, and then when you exhale, you say, is my anchor. So my breath, inhaling, is my anchor, exhaling. And we are going to do 4 exercises, each one at their own pace of this, repeating these 2 phrases. My breath is my anchor. As this practice comes to an end, I invite you to take a deep breath and let it go. begin to return your awareness to the space around you. Noticing sounds around you, you can gently move your head from one side to the other, or move your hands, stretch your hands and your feet. And stretch your arms as though you are just waking up. When you are ready, gently open your eyes. So we have the last 10 minutes. And when you are ready, if you feel like, if you want to turn on your video or just make a question, if you want to put it in the chat, whatever feels good for you. If you have any comments, how was the practice? Were you able to relax? And if not, it didn't work for you, don't worry. This is a practice, so you have to do it continuously until you master it. So not having done it, like if you couldn't relax today, not a problem. You know, this is up to me. It took me several months. First, because I didn't understand the instructions, because they are kind of complicated. English is not my first language, so it was complicated to listen all these instructions. So then I did my own instructions. So it took me a while to figure out. So don't feel bad if it didn't work for you today. We just keep practicing, and if you are interested, I'll see you in July. Anybody?